Napoleon Bonaparte, 1769 to 1821, is one of the most famous and influential figures in world history. As a French military leader, emperor, and reformer, he reshaped Europe through his military conquests, legal reforms, and strategic governance. His impact on France and the world extends beyond the battlefield, as he introduced modern administrative systems, legal codes, and military strategies that still influence societies today. Born on the island of Corsica, Napoleon rose rapidly through the ranks of the French army during the French Revolution. His extraordinary military skills, combined with his ambition and political acumen, allowed him to become Emperor of France in 1804. Over the next decade, he led numerous military campaigns, expanding the French Empire across Europe before his eventual defeat and exile. This essay explores Napoleon's rise to power, his military strategies, his reforms, and his ultimate downfall, highlighting how he changed the course of European history. Early life and rise to power. Napoleon was born on August 15, 1769, in Corsica, a Mediterranean island that had recently become a French territory. Coming from a modest noble family, he received a military education in France, attending the prestigious École Militaire in Paris. His early years were marked by intelligence, determination, and ambition, traits that would define his later successes. During the French Revolution, 1789 to 1799, France underwent a period of political upheaval, leading to the fall of the monarchy and the rise of radical governments. Napoleon, a young artillery officer, gained recognition for his brilliant military tactics in the Siege of Toulon, 1793, where he successfully defeated British and Royalist forces. His success earned him rapid promotions, and by 1796, he was given command of the French army in Italy. During the Italian campaign, 1796 to 1797, Napoleon defeated Austria and its allies, establishing himself as a military genius. He then led an expedition to Egypt, 1798, in an attempt to weaken British influence, though this campaign was less successful. Nevertheless, upon his return to France in 1799, he capitalized on political instability and staged the coup of 18 Brumaire, overthrowing the French government and making himself first consul. This marked the beginning of his dominance over France. Napoleon as emperor and military conquests. In 1804, Napoleon declared himself Emperor of France, crowning himself in a grand ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral. His reign was marked by aggressive military expansion, leading to the Napoleonic Wars, 1803 to 1815. Napoleon's military strategies were revolutionary. He employed rapid movements, surprise attacks, and centralized command structures, which allowed him to defeat much larger armies. Some of his greatest victories include Battle of Austerlitz, 1805, often called his greatest victory, where he crushed the Russian and Austrian armies. Battle of Jena-Auerstedt, 1806, defeated the powerful Prussian army, establishing dominance over Germany. Battle of Wagram, 1809, secured French control over Austria. By 1810, Napoleon controlled most of Europe, including France, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, and much of Germany. He placed his family members on European thrones, turning his empire into a vast, interconnected dominion. However, despite his successes, Napoleon's ambition led to critical mistakes, particularly his invasion of Russia in 1812. The Russian campaign and Napoleon's decline. One of Napoleon's most disastrous decisions was his invasion of Russia in 1812. Believing he could force Tsar Alexander I to surrender, he led an army of over 600,000 soldiers into Russia. However, the Russian army employed scorched earth tactics, retreating and destroying supplies to weaken the French forces. The turning point came in Moscow, where Napoleon's army arrived only to find the city abandoned and set on fire. With no shelter and supplies, the French troops were forced to retreat during the brutal Russian winter. Thousands died due to cold, starvation, and Russian attacks. By the time Napoleon's army returned to France, fewer than 100,000 soldiers remained. This disastrous campaign marked the beginning of Napoleon's downfall, His enemies, including Britain, Prussia, Austria, and Russia, saw an opportunity to defeat him. In 1814, after suffering multiple defeats, he was forced to abdicate the throne and was exiled to the island of Elba. The 100 Days and final defeat at Waterloo. Despite his exile, Napoleon's ambition remained undiminished. In 1815, he escaped from Elba and returned to France, regaining power in what became known as the 100 Days. However, his enemies quickly united against him. The final battle of Napoleon's career was the Battle of Waterloo, June 18, 1815, where he faced the Duke of Wellington's British forces and the Prussian army. The battle was fiercely contested, but in the end, Napoleon was defeated. He was captured and exiled,